You don't stop.
Oh God, Mike Cool Mike C.
Mike just like throws the zings, man.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to World Wrestling Radio. Oh, we got the music playing. That really move them. Oh, man, there's so much to talk about. But first, let me introduce my esteemed panel this evening. I have with me for the first time on World Wrestling Radio. She's been ducking and dodging us for a couple weeks now. Julie Cutler. And let me just go ahead and start off by saying, a contestant for Miss Massachusetts. Is this accurate? Is this really happening?
This is true. This is true. I am currently holding the title of Miss Berkshire County USA, competing for the title of Miss Massachusetts USA at the end of March. So that is what has currently been taking up a lot of my time. But of course, I also have been very passionate about pro wrestling for a number of years. I've had a lot of content to catch up on recently, so I've tried my best to be prepared for you guys tonight. And I'm excited. I feel like I'm already vibing with Cool Mike C. He's got the sunglasses inside. He's got the cool background. So we're off to a good start.
Cool Mike C is a special character, and he finally got the mic. For those of you that were shitting on him last week, this man got his mic. He's got the cool setup. There's only one man left that needs a mic, and then we're going to be off and running. We're taking the world by storm. Cool Mike C, how you doing this evening?
Doing great, Nico. Had a great time at Vengeance Day last night. A lot of great matches. Good to see Braun Breaker retain. Good to see Toxic Attraction. Always good to see Toxic Attraction retain. And you got some good videos of Mandy. So looking forward to talk about Vengeance tonight.
I'm borderline creepy with the videos. It's getting out of hand because every time fucking she pulls out, every time I hear the music, it's like toxic. I'm like, oh shit. I pull my shit out. I'm like getting the record button and I'm like all up in her face to the point where she's giving me the evil eye to the side.
Like Pavlov's dog.
Yeah, she's like,
you hear that
Jesus
music
Christ,
and there goes Nico.
This mother effer. But anyways, it's always good. Let's be honest, guys. It's always good to see Mandy. I mean, that's a beautiful, beautiful woman. Vinny LaSpada, thank you for joining us. Woo! He's got the bits.
What's going on, guys?
Music playing. He's got the bits. We are rocking. Vince.
It is so good to be back on World Wrestling Radio every Wednesday right here. We're going to be talking about some good topics tonight. Cody, Vengeance, AEW. Let's get this party started.
Well, there is one more person we're going to introduce. His name's Daniel. And just for the record, Julie, Daniel and Cool Mike C are kind of like mysterious. Like you can't find them anywhere. They're just here. Oh. They're at the Performance Center. They're not trying to make it in this world at all. They've already made it in life. So they don't really give a crap about people, audiences, making it, getting voted in.
I care about people. That's why I'm here, Nico.
He cares about
not making
the millions,
a social media run at
millions and people. Let's get right into it, guys. I don't want to waste any time. the man that broke the internet, the man that everybody's talking about, the man that is, I can't believe I'm saying this, the hottest free agent in professional wrestling. Is that an accurate statement right now? Cody Rhodes? Is he
Very accurate?
Jesus Christ, this man who is a pillar, a foundation, a man that started AEW with just a couple people, Hangman, Young Cucks, Tony Khan and a couple other people, but like he's gone. Everyone's saying it's a work, but I think
What was that again?
gone.
What was it again, Nico? What was
Come back
the?
with that,
Did I
Nico.
say that? I meant the Young Bucks. I am
Oh,
so sorry.
oh, that's what you said. Okay.
Yikes. I did
Okay.
not mean to call them that name. Julie Cutler, thank you for joining us. Let's go straight to you. What do you think about Cody Rhodes leaving AEW, joining free agency, the world?
Sure. So
and what's his life? What's going on? What is this?
so here's my take. I think, number one, I do not think that this is a work. I think that some of the really, really hardcore AEW I think some people want it to be a work, but I definitely do not think this is a work. Based on the recent news that came out today, there's a lot of stories that are circulating online. My best guess is that there's probably a lot going on backstage, some dynamics between some people higher up in the company, Tony Khan, the EVPs. There's probably a lot that's going on there that has transpired there over the course of the past several months that we, the public, are not privy to. So I just wanted to kind of preface anything I say by putting that out there. Just because I like to kind of see both sides of the coin, right? There's the side that like the general wrestling world is seeing right now of,
Right.
oh my God, like Cody, he was one of the main pillars, one of the main people that made AEW a thing in the first place. I always kind of saw him as being the guy who is saying, you know what, like I'm leaving WWE. I'm going to make a big name for myself in the wrestling world outside of WWE. There's a lot of people that
Which
have
he
left.
did. He truly
Which
did.
he did. And there's a lot of people that have come in and out of WWE at different points in time, people that have even left on bad terms that have come back. But I feel like that was kind of his shtick, was, being the throne breaker. And so, you see that side. That's the side that most people see. At the end of the day, he's going to do what's best for him monetarily. He's going to do what's best for his family. There's that whole side of his life that like we don't even see. We don't have that visibility into. From the standpoint of what has been reported, I know that there were some more reports that came out today that mentioned not only his contract from a financial standpoint, but they had also mentioned just the fact that Tony Khan had sort of pulled in the reins on the EVPs in terms of who is able to really have creative control in the company. And I think that the appeal of AEW, and I do think that this is still an appeal of AEW, is the fact that a lot of these guys on the indies spend so much time and effort and money and energy building their character, creating, merchandise, learning how to cut promos. And in AEW, you have some level of creative freedom to sort of show up as that character that you've spent so many years building, as opposed to maybe going somewhere else and having to take on a new name and a new persona and work with writers and things of that nature. That being said,
Right.
I also think that to some degree, there needs to be one person at the top. There needs to be one person who can say, okay, Cody, or okay, Kenny, or whoever, like this can happen or this cannot happen. Because at a certain point, looking at what Cody and some of these other guys have done in the past, there have been some things that have been phenomenal. And there have been some things that, quite frankly, have not worked. For example, the whole Anthony Ogogo angle, Cody himself said, I regret everything about this. And I think, from my perspective,
Right.
from the perspective of a fan, I didn't personally get anything out of that. The weigh-in that they did was something that I know he shared on Roads to the Top. He was not proud of. The pay-per-view match that they did, I personally felt as though it took time away from other things that could have been taken to the next level. So you see things like that and you say, okay, I let you do what you wanted to do here. I let you sort of take a chance on this person and put them in a spotlight, put them in a big match, and it really didn't work. So to some degree, I have to understand, having one person at the top that says like, oh, okay, no, I'm going to pull in the reins here and I'm going to make the product be what I think is going to work for the wider audience as opposed to what's going to work for you.
Nice. Homie's over here complimenting on Homie's thing. Sure. And you're absolutely right about Cody. And he has the world at the palm of his hands. And a lot of people are saying a lot of interesting stuff. Power Stroke saying they think he should run Ring of Honor. Nadia is over here saying, do you see Cody in a WrestleMania match? And I'm going to go with that question for Vinny. Vinny, do you see Cody in a WrestleMania match this year? Because let's be honest. If Amazing Grace or whatever, whatever American Dream, his music hits, or his current, I don't even know what his current, I don't think he can take his current weird music with the pyro and everything dropping.
Well, I mean, he owns the rights to it.
Does he?
He does.
What's crazy about that is like, there's so much opportunity for pyro for other people now at AEW now that dude is gone, because he takes up like 45 seconds of pyro every single time he comes in. Ben, where's Cody going? What's he going to do? Do you see him at WrestleMania? Answering Nadia's question.
Well, Nadia, I got to tell you, you hit the nail on the head when when you said, first off, there is too many Indians around the TP, because you got Cody Rhodes trying to fight these other people that, frankly, it's like a WCW. I mean, you got too many people trying to put their hands in the cookie jar, where, you have the Young Bucks, you have Kenny Omega, you had Hangman Page, you had Chris Jericho. All of them came in together for this AEW with Tony Khan. Now, one of those guys, now I'm going to tell you this, and everybody knows this as well as I do. When somebody has a brilliant idea, there's only one person in the group that runs with the idea and throws it back on the person that was sent to them. That being said, one of those guys said to Tony Khan, hey, listen, it's cool to hire all these people, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to start cutting some people. You're going to have to start making some changes, and a lot of people are going to not have say in what goes on. That is why I think Cody Rhodes left, because Cody Rhodes, to me, was one of the founding members with the Young Bucks. I wouldn't say so much Hangman Adam Page, but I really do think Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Cody really put this AEW together. So for me to say that, I think first of all, I think Cody's an idiot right off the bat.
I just wrote, we don't care. Look at this rude comment that just dick it. Just do
I honestly think at the end of the day, Cody could have more success with AEW, because you guys know as well as I do, AEW allows you to not only redeem the rights to your t-shirts on ProWrestlingTees.com, but it allows you to work with other platforms. Going back to WWE, he loses all that. So do I see him in a WrestleMania match this year? Oh yeah, they're already saying that they can see him on WWE TV by next week. So, I mean, what's that say to you? I mean, we're coming up close. We got an Elimination Chamber right around the corner. So why not take advantage of somebody like Cody Rhodes to bring him inside a storyline for WrestleMania? I mean, you guys know they pick stupid people like Brock Lesnar and Goldberg because they don't rely on their talent to actually make a WrestleMania match. So why not bring Cody Rhodes in to make it all that better?
Wow, that was a very valid statement, Vincent. It's hard to argue everything we're all saying. We're all making sense here, so it's hard to even be like, you're an idiot. Cool Mike C, what do you make of this? Cody Rhodes, is this a big deal? Is he the hottest free agent in professional wrestling, or am I just blowing smoke up his own ass?
I mean, big picture, this is part of his 5-year plan. When he left 5 years ago, when he was doing things in 17, when he was at Impact and Ring of Honor and around the world, wanted to be the biggest free agent then. He was. Had that gentleman's bet with Dave Meltzer saying he and some independents could sell out a 10,000-seat arena. They did it. They got everything going. Remember, at the end of the day, he's Dusty's boy. And he is going to be what Dusty was. He's business-minded. He's got a 5-year plan after this. The next 5 years, he's going to WWE. He's going to go there as an executive. He's not going to have one of these 90-day and out things. He's going to make sure he has that locked in. Nadia had a great question. Will he be at WrestleMania? Of course he's going to be at WrestleMania for sure. He didn't leave in mid-February by accident with no contract since the end of the year. Yes, he'll be there. As far as the other partners, as people had brought up questions, I do think he's going to get into a faction like a Legacy. And you heard this here first. When he goes eventually, I'm not saying it's going to be right away. Eventually, he's going to have a Legacy stable, and Braun Breaker is going to be in there with him. You're going to see.
Does Power Stroke make any sense? Daniel saying at the end of the day, WWE will bury him because they have a point there. That's the kind of like petty shit. I didn't ask you, Mike. I asked Daniel.
It's a Vince McMahon move to bury.
Is this some shit Vince would do? Is he gonna bring Cody in, make him have his cool pyro, and have him job out to like Juventud Guerrero or some kind of shit? What's gonna happen here?
I mean, first off, I'm so of the belief I'll believe it when I see it. I think Cody put way too much into AEW. I think there's too much invested in it. I think he still wants to do other things. I still don't expect to see him on TV anytime soon. I think right now he holds all the cards. If this really is a contract thing, I think he'll get it from Tony Khan. It's just going to take some time. And I think you're going to start to see how AEW is going to start to miss Cody Rhodes along the way. I think it can only benefit WWE to grab Cody Rhodes, but I don't see him having a great run in WWE because I think they're going to start going in different directions. And I think Cody Rhodes for the first year or two will be a great novelty, and it'll wear off. So I think his long-term value is in AEW. For him to go to WWE at this point, he's going to give up potentially Impact, Ring of Honor, NJPW, all these other sorts of other things he can do on the side just to go to WWE again. And with the things that he really has talked about wanting to do and going Hollywood, being a mega star, pop culture phenomenon, it doesn't make sense to go to WWE with the control they're going to want, the things they need that they demand out of their talent. He's just, I think it's AEW or bust. I wouldn't be shocked if it's WWE, but I don't see it.
You know, he's the grandson of a plumber, right?
I get it.
He's got something to prove. Like, he didn't get to do what he wanted to do in WWE because when they made him that Stardust character, a part of him kind of crushed.
It was
and although him and Old Dust had a nice little run as brothers, like doing their stupid gimmick, like that's not who Cody Rhodes is. He's this bad mother effer that we've seen the last 2 years, having these epic matches, putting it on the motherfucker just burnt. Literally. Right. He's burnt for life from this shit. I mean, like, he loves wrestling more than anything. I hope he goes to WWE. I would have never guessed Cody Rhodes. I would have never guessed Cody Rhodes was the guy that was going to jump ship and be the first person to leave AEW and become part of, this whole thing. Because back in the day, this was a big move in WWF and WCW when like Lex Luger would show up on the next day on Monday Night Nitro, or Hulk Hogan switched sides, and then they got Macho Man, and like the momentum started shifting the other way. And for a minute, it felt like AEW was catching up. It's like 1.1 million, 1.14 million. And then Raw's on Sci-Fi, and it's like 1.3 million. So they're coming. And then Cody leaves. And I don't care what anyone says. Cody is the fucking heart and soul of AEW, like he was. Jay, what's going on? Cody ain't beating Roman. He's not going to WWE. That's true. And, that's a really interesting question about Roman Reigns, because we're all kind of leading up to this big Elimination Chamber show coming up, and then obviously WrestleMania is right around the corner. Julie, do you go to WrestleMania? Have you ever been to WrestleMania?
I have. I actually. So this is a little bit sidetracking from the conversation, but I'm sure you've all seen too that there has been discussion of Stone Cold at this year's WrestleMania, and if that is really, if that's really on the table. I was just looking at flights to Dallas the other day. So I've been to several. Actually, Niko, we were at one of the same ones, but this was like before I knew you. And I think we were sitting near each other too.
In Tampa?
Orlando. I think it was at
33.
Camping World Stadium.
Yeah. 33. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Where do you live in Boston or Massachusetts?
I live in Massachusetts, but
it's cold as fuck there.
It's very cold.
We're all in
Actually,
Florida.
it's getting a little bit better. So I do travel to Florida on a
blame you.
fairly, I wouldn't say regular basis, but I have family down there and other connections. So I like to travel down there when I can. So I was there at WrestleMania 33.
Yeah, that's a long
but I was
time.
looking at tickets to Dallas the other day because
Oh,
I was
really?
like, oh, if Stone Cold's gonna be there, I was like, this might be something that I have to see. The only thing is now, obviously, we've got the 2 nights of WrestleMania. So which night's he showing up?
He's got to be night 2, don't you think?
I know. Last year, I kind of felt like
night 1 was kind of ass.
I loved night. I was gonna say I thought night 1 was actually the better of the 2 nights last year. I thought they were both actually pretty good. I had very few complaints about night 1. I thought night 1 they did a good job on in terms of match outcomes and things of that nature. But
I'm just annoyed that there's like a 2 nights again, and if it's probably going to be like this forever. Because now instead of dropping $500, I'm dropping $1,000, and that's not really my cup of tea. To spend $1,000 on a bunch of sweaty dudes in underwear beating the shit out of each other.
It's hard. It's hard because you also don't know. Like if there's certain things that you're looking forward to, certain matches that you want to see, certain people you want to see, it's like you don't really know until you get there what the lineup's going to look like. So even if you wanted to buy tickets for one night, is that going to be the night that you want to be there for? You don't know.
I'd rather it be one night for sure, but it is what it is. So I agree with you, and we hope to see you there. I know Cool Mike C is going to be there. Vinny will be there. Daniel's on the fence.
Are you going to Revolution? March? Any
it's right up there. It's 20 minutes from my house. Like we're not missing that shit.
Oh no,
we're trying to get on the.
I am going to be at Revolution for sure. So
we have a radio show. Maybe Vince will bring you on if you're lucky. He has an FM radio show. He's a big star himself. All right, let's get moving. Let's answer Pink Paradise's question. Who do you think will win the chamber match in the men's section? Go for it, Julie.
I was going for the previous question, the one before this. I feel like
what was the previous one? I don't even know.
About Cody, something about Cody Rhodes and WWE.
Cody ain't beating Roman. Cody stands with WWE. Who's he going to feud with?
Yeah, so I do feel like there is a good chance that Cody could show up in WWE soon. I do think that there's a good chance that he could be at WrestleMania. To speak to a couple of Daniel's points earlier, I do think that WWE can do right by him in terms of what he's probably looking for monetarily in terms of a contract. In terms of long-term booking, I do agree with you because I think that Cody is very big into the creative side of things, and he has a very creative mind. I mean, listen to his promos. Look at some of the matches that he's put on in AEW. I mean, he's the guy that will take a risk. And so I think in terms of putting himself out there on a major platform, if he's trying to sort of make himself more of a Hollywood guy, I do think that WWE is a place that he could do that. In terms of long-term booking in the wrestling world, I do agree with Daniel that I feel like maybe he could show up at WrestleMania. Maybe they could sort of pump him up, put him in a big match there, put him in a big spot, maybe give him, his first win back in WWE. But I don't know how I see it going long term, only because I feel like in AEW, Cody was one of the first guys, and he was kind of one of the first guys on the roster who was bigger. He was kind of like one of the first big body guys. And in WWE, they have a lot more of those guys. Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, they have a lot more of those types of guys on the main event scene to play around with. And so is he going to be able to keep that top spot? That's what I don't know.
No, I don't think at this point in time he's going to even reach the top spot. I mean, and let's be honest, the more I think about this, we all sound kind of silly to think that he's going to show up at WrestleMania and beat the shit out of Roman Reigns. Like, that's not how this is going down. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to show up and maybe I could see him showing up and kicking Johnny Knoxville in the nuts or Sami Zayn or something. Like, he's just not there. And he was almost done with AEW anyways from a wrestling standpoint. He was putting his boot up against Aleister Black. Like, he doesn't have a lot in the tank. He keeps giving more and more. But at the end of the day, how much more does he really have left to give? And I don't want to spend the whole show talking about Cody, but it's just such a big deal that this dude left. Like, I'm just shocked. I really am. If this shit's a work, like, I mean, this is some Mark Henry, John Cena retirement kind of bullshit. If y'all hold on, let's backspin is saying if y'all could pick a Sting send-off match, who is he facing? Sting needs to send off now to the Villages and give up his reign as a wrestler because the man
Stop.
old
Disagree, hard disagree.
All right. I'll let you guys answer it. Briefly answer it so we can move on. Daniel, who do you see Sting having his send-off match against?
I think at this point it's got to be Darby.
Yeah, it doesn't really make much sense anymore. I mean, that's kind of like they've been like that's been the pair off for all this time. Mike, do you agree or do you see someone else?
I think at some point in time you're definitely going to see that with he and Darby with the turn.
Raven, why would you write something so silly like that? That is not cool, Moreau. He does not need to do that. Tiffany Johnson says, what do you think about Cody? Well, Tiffany, we've been talking about Cody for 25 minutes, so you might want to go back and listen to the playback because we've been chatting about this homie for a minute. Let's move on. NXT Vengeance Day was last night. 3 out of 5 of us showed up to the event, watched it in the front row, like always. That's how we roll. And for this, all the jerks on Twitter that want to talk shit, guess who cut last night? This guy. I'm the one who cut 100 people last night. So kiss my butt. I was the cutter last night, not the cutty. But anyways,
That sounds hypocritical.
It was very hypocritical. And I just sat there with my mouth shut as Jay, our homie, did his thing. Jay Buoyant, you're over there doing your thing. Ellie just commented too. Thank you, Jay, for pulling the miracle. He always pull. And I met LA Knight. How cool is it when you meet LA? You're walking out and there's LA Knight pulling up, getting ready to get in his Corvette. You're just like, holy shit, LA. And he's like,
I saw that picture and it was funny because he was almost like ducked behind you, pointing at you. I was like, why does it look like LA Knight met Niko?
I was almost like that. I was gonna get cocky for a minute and be like, LA Knight got to meet Niko, but it wasn't like that. I was the mark for sure when I saw him come out, and my buddy even had like autographs for him to sign. So he did the whole autographs and selfies, and then got in his Corvette and drove away. In a Vengeance Day came and went. What do we think about it? Cool, Mike C. You're sitting there with your brand new cool Yeti mic. You're sitting there with your cool mushroom background and your glasses. You wear your sunglasses at night. I'm gonna download that song for you for next week for your intro. What did you think of NXT Vengeance?
I mean, obviously the best show of the year, which is saying a lot, but a little since it's only 6 weeks in. But clearly with Toxic Attraction, that was great to see them. The Creed brothers, beating MSK. That was something. They're going to be main roster guys this year. So they're going to be getting up there. Braun Breaker still looking strong. He's going to be a big deal. The big match with that kicked it all off in the cage match with Pete Dunne and Tony D. That was a good match too. That got a little bit physical for what's usually like a PG show. They got pretty rough in that one. I'd say overall I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it's the thing for me is a lot of people were like, "What the fuck is NXT doing? They got rid of this guy. They got rid of that guy. They got rid of Adam Cole. They got rid of Kyle O'Reilly." And then I'm watching Kyle O'Reilly on AEW, and I'm like, this dude's a boob. Like he really is. Like he is not the guy that they thought he was in NXT. They had him pushed at like main event for a minute. Him and Adam Cole main evented. Adam Cole put him over, and then there was a move for him. And then he came out with his hat, and they were like, "Oh no, wait, we messed up."
Cool,
like,
Kyle.
Oh, whoa, hit row, cool, Kyle O'Reilly. You guys, like get the f out of here. So, like, I don't know. For me, NXT kind of hit their groove last night. It felt like they made their comeback. They had a hell of a show. It's not the names that you thought it was, but it's also not the budget that it used to be. And seeing the guys like a Braun Breaker and seeing people like Carmelo Hayes who have really stepped up to be kind of premier athletes in this, not only WWE but like in pro wrestling. Carmelo Hayes is one of the best pro wrestlers going right now. Vinny, did you watch it? What'd you do? Where's your knowledge of what's going on? I know you've had a long couple weeks. Vinny owns his own sub shop, La Spada Subs. For those of you in Orlando, come hang out, eat the best sub in Florida, hands down. Julie, when you come in town, make sure you get a La Spada sub. They are yummy. Vinny, did you get to check it out?
So I just have one question. I diddled in it. This morning I woke up, watched some of it on
Diddled in
YouTube.
it.
Well, I don't like watching the whole thing. I like going on YouTube and watching like the 2-3 minute segments, so at least I know what happened. But my main concern question for you guys is, and anybody can shout out what you guys think is, are we excited every year that comes around that we're watching who wins the Dusty Cup
No.
for the next person to move on and leave NXT to where we're screwed again because you're taking, and this is how I feel when you go to the main roster. It's like the kiss of death. Okay, you move up to the main roster and you get screwed because we all know. I mean, a lot of us know that we've been NXT at Full Sail. That when Keith Lee, I know Nico was like he's going to be a star.
I still think that, by the way. I think Keith Lee's one of the biggest stars in the world.
He's looking like it now, for sure.
AEW got a fucking jackpot, bro.
But I kept telling you guys for the longest time.
David Sanderson, how you doing?
I've said it for the longest time, and you guys thought I was nuts. Almost everybody that goes to the main roster, except for a few people, they end up screwing. So to me, the Creed Brothers won. I'm surprised MXK didn't move up. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they heard
need to move up.
Yeah, but you say that though. But then it's like if MXK
tag team division's lacking though, dude. There's not a lot of tag. They got bro RK bro because they don't have anything better to do. So they mix.
Okay.
In fairness, I do find them very entertaining.
It's great, but they're not legit. We all know. Yeah, one's going to screw one any day. They're not a legitimate tag team.
Well, tell me, the Street Profits were one of the hottest tag teams, and now they're
way hot.
Dude, they're far from done. They're, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Montez Ford has
the best frog splash.
But you're talking about one person. We're talking
first off, what's the best sub to eat at Las Patas? Vaxman needs to know.
The best sub to eat at Las Patas?
Yeah.
Of course, a cheesesteak.
Gotta go cheesesteak. The man has Philly heritage. His cheesesteak is the bomb. If you're not a cheesesteak guy,
1938. So 72 years of in business.
I go ham and cheese if I don't want cheesesteak. Either one is really amazing. And you can get the burger. Even the burger's good there, but don't do it. Get the cheesesteak. Quit playing around. Las Patas subs go to. We already know this. All right, let's keep talking about Vengeance Day. For me, the Creed brother, and I'm going to answer your question right now. I think the Dusty Classic is a rite of passage. I think when you get that like nostalgia. First off, Dusty is a god in the world of pro wrestling because not only was he a great wrestler, but he molded so many people behind the scenes in WCW and WWE and TNA and NXT. Like, it's just crazy all the people that he inspired. So to win that is nostalgic. And MSK and Creed Brothers gave a hell of a battle for it. Julie, did you get to watch that match? Did you see these four dudes beat the shit out of each other?
I saw, so I didn't see all of Vengeance Day. I did see bits and pieces of Vengeance Day. I did want to jump back a little bit to kind of what Vinny was talking about, I believe, a little bit earlier, relating to NXT and sort of like the restructuring of NXT that they're doing right now. There are some aspects of it that I think are actually very, very smart. And I think on the flip side, there's like the hardcore fans that have known NXT for the time frame in which it's existed up to this point, and we're kind of comparing to that, and we're looking at previous takeovers. I think previously, some of the NXT takeovers that they were doing, I mean, they didn't have a huge match card. They had like 5-6 matches that they really focused on building strong stories for. Every single match on the card, like I don't remember which takeover it was, but like some of the takeovers had they'd have like 2 5-star matches on the same card, which is like very uncommon.
Takeover was a big deal. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I remember being
it's
at
not
Takeover,
a big deal. Yeah.
I remember being at Takeover in New Orleans, and they had like I think it was the year with the 5-man ladder match, and that was like the most incredible.
Cole won the North American Championship.
Oh, were you there?
That was the start of it.
Yes, it was.
I was there.
It was one of the most incredible. So we were there.
I was.
We all like ran into each other. We all saw Julie and we're like, "Who's that?" And then she saw
such a great match.
And then she saw us and she was like, "Who's that?" Ew.
Oh God. So you look back and you see the old NXT, you see the takeovers, the amazing pay-per-views that they put out, and I think the appeal about the old NXT was that they were a little bit more AEW-esque than what they're doing right now, in the sense that a lot of these guys, they were maybe a little bit, I hate to say older because they're not really old, but maybe a little bit older than some of the people they're bringing in now, but they're guys that really came up on the indie scene. So to see them being pushed to like a more formal, larger platform was kind of exciting. On the flip side, I feel like now their new technique is they're really trying to, they're getting rid of, in some cases, unfortunately, some of those folks that have been around for a while, and they're trying to bring in young people, and they're not necessarily people that have a wrestling background, which I think can go either of two ways. I mean, you see guys like Braun Breaker, other guys, historically like Roman Reigns, Kurt Angle, that didn't have a wrestling back. They weren't training for years on the indies to become pro wrestlers, but ultimately they just had all of the tools in their toolbox that they needed to be successful. However, I think that it can also go the other way, where you bring in some people that are maybe world-class athletes that don't have the wrestling background, and some people will develop the passion for it, and some people will really fall in love with it and fall into that groove. And then you might have some people that sort of use that as a jumping off point to launch their career. Just, they see it as an opportunity. They see it as, a stepping stone to maybe something else. So I think that's where the new NXT needs to be a little bit careful, is I think, there are going to be instances where you bring in athletes from other places that have all the tools where you can really mold them into what you want them to be. And we've seen that work before, but I think that it really depends on the person, where that can also backfire.
For sure. And just in the last couple months, we've seen Riddle, we've seen AJ Styles, and now Dolph Ziggler. Like, they didn't need to have all these people. They just brought in their own people to come in and kind of mix the old with the new. And it seems to be working out.
I agree with that.
I do feel a lot of people, the last of the last, there's the Peter Dunes, who's Pete Dunne, by the way, for those of you that don't know. Ciampa, MSK, they're kind of it's like shit or get off the pot for them. And now it's like Harlan's turn, and all these other Idris and all these Draco, all these new guys that they really want to push. The new NXT is thumbs down. You know what, Sal? You're thumbs down right now with that attitude. I don't like to hear it. All right. Wow. We went through 45 minutes already. That is crazy. We didn't even get to any of the shit we were going to talk about. That's okay, though. We do have Mad Dog joining us for the news coming up. I hope he's ready, because he does have some new music coming on. I'm really excited to do this. Here is Mad Dog and the news. It's Mad Dog and the news. What's up, Mad Dog?
That was beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, that was great. I feel like Superman now. So yeah, that was cool. Thank you for that.
Mad Dog, I know you just heard us ramble about Cody Rhodes for 35 minutes, so I hope your first bit of news is not Cody Rhodes. But let us know what's going on in the world of pro wrestling. He was right. Like, hey guys, just so you know, Cody Rhodes is...
Well, I have him on here, obviously. It's a big story, but I actually have to start with Stone Cold Steve Austin. He is coming back. According to Wrestling Votes, they did confirm he's coming back for WrestleMania 38. And apparently it will not be in a wrestling capacity. It will be doing some sort of segment or something else, but it's not going to be in any sort of match.
So basically, he's going to be giving someone a Stone Cold Stunner.
Pretty much. I'm thinking it might be Kevin Owens right now, due to the Kevin Owens calling out Texas and all that. But we'll see. It's early to tell, obviously, in the world of professional wrestling there. The next thing I actually have, it's not Cody Rhodes, at least not yet, but you have him on the list, is actually going to be Chris Jericho. As you guys know, a lot of AEW guys have re-signed lately. Chris Jericho is now under contract with the company until 2024. So that is crazy. Jericho right now, I believe, is 51, maybe 52. I'm not exactly sure on Jericho's precise age, but I know he's definitely up there and he's still going. So great for him.
Alexa,
great
how
match
old is
tonight.
Jericho? Chris Jericho. Well, I'll let my girl tell me.
51.
Julie Cutler. We don't
Yep,
need Alexa. We
51.
got
Got
Julie
it.
Cutler.
There we go.
She's like
Excellent.
51 and hot as hell.
Excellent.
Actually, fun fact: I did have a big crush on Chris Jericho when I was little. When I was
Like
growing up
Lionheart
watching
Chris
wrestling.
Jericho, right?
It's funny because I don't really get starstruck when I meet a lot of people. Like I like to meet people and I like to make conversation with them. But meeting Chris Jericho, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. Like, what do I say? But he was very, very, very nice when I met him.
What is your favorite Jericho match?
Ooh. It's hard to choose because I feel like
that's an on the spot moment. That dude's been wrestling for 30 years. That's a lot to indulge. Like even me right now, I'm like, damn, who
You said
like,
you
what
were
would I say?
starstruck, so I'm just trying to get the moment.
I'm trying to think because there's a lot that he's done in WWE and there's a lot that he's done in AEW. He had
DJ.
his little New Japan run
Right.
as the Painmaker. Let me think about
Bring me
that.
back.
Let me let that marinate for a minute.
I
and
got
I'm gonna
mine.
get back to you.
KO.
There's
That
only
was
one.
That whole run with Kevin Owens that
Festival
went
of
through the Festival of Friendship in
Yes.
Las Vegas.
The
That
list
whole thing
of
where
the
he
list
turned on
of
him.
Owens, man.
That's right. The list of
I
Owens
do
turned
feel
on him.
like
That was a great run they had all the way to Mania.
He's
When
actually
Chris Jericho beat Stone Cold and The Rock at the same night is his epic moment.
That's
Let's be
true.
honest.
I
That's a
think
good
that
point,
is,
Saul.
That is
Good
was a
point.
great match.
I think
That
no
was- that
one
was his
was
best,
expecting
for sure.
Jericho to beat those two dudes. Like when he I was like, no way, dude. There's no
Right.
way he's beating The Rock.
That
And
was
then, boom.
definitely the best ever for sure.
that
That
might
was
Jericho versus
epic.
Punk at Mania. Was that at WrestleMania 28 before Rock versus Cena? So I was there live and it was actually a great match, but unfortunately I was too busy getting ready for The Rock in Miami to give a shit about Punk or Cena or Jericho, you know what I mean? But that was a great match, definitely. The
I got
first
one.
ever.
I got one.
Go Vince. Who is it?
Chris Jericho versus Eddie Guerrero, World War III, 1996.
Wow.
Was that WCW?
That's
Yeah.
WCW, right?
They used to living shit out of each other.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a good
That
one.
was a
What
good
are you- What are you smoking on there,
Yeah.
cowboy? What's that?
There's nothing.
Looks like a titty. Damn. What is that?
Oh,
Why
goodness.
does your pipe look like a Bad Dog? Give us the
Yes,
news.
yes,
Give
I
us
know.
the
I have to
woman
That's
continue. You're
Vince.
right.
Why is it
Um,
pink and white? What the
Hold on.
Don't ask why. He might tell you.
Jesus Christ.
It's Peachy Punch.
Mad Dog, give us the news.
Yeah, right. So the next segment here,
Need a Vinny.
right. I'm going to give the next tidbit here. The next one is unfortunate. I do it to bring up Cody Rhodes. He left.
Bring him up. I don't
AEW
even care.
to
Bring him up.
join WWE. Possibly, apparently, as of tonight, his bus was seen outside WWE headquarters in Connecticut.
What?
So I can't, confirm the source, but according to one of my sources on Twitter, apparently they saw Cody Rhodes' bus outside
Fucking awesome.
WWE headquarters. So
Probably
yeah.
Fightful with a 1, right, Daniel?
Sean Ross Sapp reporting live.
My question
was
is,
not him, but anyway,
what does Cody's bus look like?
Shut your mouth, jabroni.
I believe
What?
it's
He
the
drives his own
American
bus? What a
Nightmare
stud.
bus, the one
What
you
a
see on
stud.
Roads to the Top, right? That's what I always imagine.
Wait,
I
people
don't know,
watch
maybe it's a
that?
different bus. I don't know.
People watch
I
that.
watched all of it, Daniel.
I watched
all
the
of
first
it.
episode. I mean, I gave it a
Julie.
try, but
I did.
Julie,
I'm
Julie's
not.
pandering for AEW. She wants a job there. And by the way,
I-
anyway, Julie, are
I
you
do.
open, are you available for podcasting? By the way, we're all over the place. We're heard on Apple and Spotify, not just by these dorks that listen now. Are
I
you available
am.
for people to interview you potentially?
Yes, I am. I've done only a couple of podcasts so far, but it's something that I'm starting to dabble in a little bit more as time goes on, kind of getting my feet wet. So I am available. I'm going to plug myself right now. You can also
Please
follow
do.
me on Instagram at the Crown Jewels, Crown spelled with an E at the end. So if you're looking to contact me, that is probably the best way.
The Crown Jewels,
The
everybody.
Crown Jewels, yes.
Next time you're on, I'll have your website up and running. I apologize.
Oh,
for that.
thank you. That's okay.
I could have shared it.
I was just trying to circle back to the Jericho question. I was kind of on my phone off to the side, looking back at some of my favorite
And this
matches.
is awesome, by the way, Sal, because I have taken like 4 pictures with Cody. So if I get a Stardust with Cody picture, that's going to be amazing.
All right, Julie, hit us with it. Come on.
Yeah, so
go ahead.
I will say I wanted to bring up in WWE the Undisputed Championship moment. This is not a match, but I just wanted to bring up his debut promo that he cut with The Rock. I do go back and watch that promo sometimes when I just want to like feel positive emotions. So I did want to mention that. I will say and this is again like sidetracking a little bit, but I wanted to just mention because I mentioned Jericho being one of my favorites of all time, and I had said this on another podcast that I feel like he's someone who consistently reinvents himself over the years. Like we've seen him do a number of different gimmicks as both babyface and a heel in WWE. We've seen him come back in AEW and reinvent himself. We saw him create the whole Painmaker gimmick in that sort of time that he had in between when he was wrestling in New Japan. We've seen him revive that since. And so the thing that I just admire so much about him is the fact that he constantly reinvents himself despite being 51 years old and still in this business. He constantly reinvents himself and he's always relevant. I feel as though sometimes people try to switch up their gimmick and sometimes it just like doesn't really work. They try to change up their gear. They try to change up their music. Something about it just feels inauthentic and you don't really like it. But with Jericho, I just feel like every single time there's something that's hilarious about it. There's something that he ends up trademarking. We've seen it with Le Champion. We've seen it with Painmaker. We've seen it with Demo God. I mean, how many things
He's a marketing
does he,
genius.
how many things does he come up with that are just constantly gold?
His initial stuff in WCW with Rufus.
Oh God, there goes the neighborhood, y'all. Jason's listening. Look out.
It's cool to hear people mention things from that far back.
Oh, and you know, like the fans are like real. They're into it. There's some people that know this shit like back and forth. They'll be like, Jericho versus The Rock on 1994 was the match of I'm just like, holy shit! Like I don't remember stuff like that. I don't know if it's the medical.
I may or may not have been born yet then. So.
Whoa. I was actually born that year. I was born in 94.
Me too.
So
Mad Dog, we're sorry to interrupt your news. Give us a little more news.
I have to say something about Chris Jericho real quick. I just have to say it's not a match, but there was this segment between him and AKA John Moxley, Dean Ambrose, where they had this potted plant. And all I remember is they smashed the potted plant. I believe the plant was named Mitch or Mitchell or something like that. If I'm wrong, you guys can correct me. I think that plant was named Mitch or Mitchell or something like that. And that was like the best thing that they've ever done. And AJ Mitch. Styles and Jericho. That was good too. That was a good run as well.
That was.
So anyway, so the next thing I have here, I want to just quickly, shout out and condolences to, if I say the name wrong, I do apologize. But I believe his name was Mickey J. Henderson. He was a referee for WWE and WCW. He passed away from COVID-19 about a week ago. WWE just posted, I think, on their site, this past Monday. He passed away for complications from COVID, unfortunately. And WWE posted up on their site Monday. So my condolences and thoughts are with his family there. On to the next thing here. I have some Impact news. I know one of you wanted me to give you some Impact news. I think it was you, Daniel. I'm not exactly sure. I think it was you. So I do have it here. Yes. For Saturday's No Surrender, there will be alternate commentary on.
Sorry, go ahead.
There you go.
You're not sorry.
The FITE TV app, there will be alternate commentary for No Surrender, and that commentary will consist of SoCal Val, Lisa Marie Varon, which is actually Victoria from WWE. I actually got to meet her last October.
Name drop.
And Tracy Brooks. Yeah, she was really nice. She actually gave me a hug and everything. We talked.
Tracy Brooks is still wrestling.
She's gonna be in the commentary team.
Oh, okay.
With Lisa Marie and SoCal Val.
Is she still with Kaz?
I'm not exactly sure. I will look that up and get back to you next week on that. I promise. The other thing I also have here, I know Nico said he might be going to it. Impact has released a date for Wrestling Con, by the way, which will be April 1st. That will be in Dallas at the Fairmont Hotel. That's April 1st. And the show will go on precisely at 9 p.m. So that's going to be April 1st in Dallas, by the way. That's going to be WrestleMania weekend. And the last thing I have here of the night, which is the biggest story, not sure if you guys heard this or not.
You get four from now on, by the way.
You should have told me this earlier in the chat. You told me I had
Nico,
to.
plan some music. Plan some
11.
music.
Anyway.
Go ahead. Finish it out. Go.
Right. Paul Heyman, by the way, got into some controversy over the Friday's taping of SmackDown. When a fan flips the bird to him, and basically, you guys know how Paul Heyman is. Paul Heyman is Paul Heyman, so he went kind of crazy. The video is out there if you guys haven't seen it on YouTube and Twitter. And honestly, when a buddy of mine sent me this, I just couldn't stop laughing. I kind of fell to the floor out of this chair. That's how funny I thought the segment was. So, the Usos, I think it was Jay, was holding him back. And then the referees came out and just was like constraining Paul. It was like the funniest thing. I can't even explain it. So you guys have to go look up the segment. I'll find it and I'll put it to the Twitter.
I'm calling bullshit.
So no, I will send it to you. But that's all I have this week.
All right, Matt.
Thank you very much, Mad Dog. As always, Mad Dog with the news. We are coming to the end of the hour. It went by so fast. We had so much to talk about, such little time. Julie, we hope you definitely come back at another day and join us.
Thank you.
I know we're crazy and insane.
I could keep going. I've got more in the tank. I know.
Yeah. We could go on forever. We could talk forever too.
Throw in one last little piece of info at the end of the show, but to add to Mad Dog's news of the day, now I'm reading new reports of where Buddy Murphy is going to go. I don't know if you guys have been reading up on that at all today, but that's what the rumors are.
Yeah.
But I just heard about that today.
I've heard about that too. I've also heard John Morrison might be going over there as well. I heard that the other night.
Actually,
so
that I have not heard.
You guys,
I heard that too. So
Julie Cutler, Mrs. Massachusetts, possibly Miss USA. Where can they find you one more time? Let us know. We're all supporting you here.
Oh, thank you.
I'm sure all these nerds here and all the millions and millions of people are going to go follow you after this.
Well, I am a self-proclaimed wrestling nerd myself, so I appreciate that immensely. So my Instagram, if you want to give me a follow, is The Crown Jewels. Crown is with an E at the end because the other one was not available, but that's okay. We're making it work. We're making it work.
Don't feel bad. Niko Exxtra was canceled at 22,000 followers on Instagram, and now I'm Niko Exxtra 1 on there with 600. So I don't feel your pain. Vinny Laspada, where can they find you? Where can they find Laspada subs? The best subs in Florida, as our man Chris just said. Boom, right there. Best subs in Florida. I second that. Go for it, Vince. Where can they find you?
Well, you can always go to laspadas.com for more info on how you can get a hold of one of your delicious cheesesteaks right from the heart of Philadelphia. 3 locations for your Orlando, Sanford, and Orange City. But you can always find me on Sundays, 2 to 3 p.m. on Florida Man Radio, 105.5 FM, 660 AM right here in Orlando. And if you don't have those dials, go to your app store and the Android or Apple device and download the Florida Man Radio app. You can hear me, Nico, and anybody else that I proclaim to put on every Sunday, 3 p.m. The Vince Laspada Show.
We are definitely on FM radio. We've been on FM radio for over a year now. It seems like I remember it being a big deal, but now it's just kind of like Sunday. We're just in there talking shit to people, and we got 10,000 people listening and commenting on everything we say. But it's
like an Italian dinner on Sundays.
We've definitely gotten comfortable at Daniel and Cool Mike C. You know where you can find them? You can't, because they're mysterious.
We don't exist.
No.
They do not exist. Mad Dog, the leader of World Wrestling Radio's Twitter, WWR Live. Where can you be found? Thank you for the news. by
I'm
the way.
on all platforms. Matt Mad Dog. Facebook Matt Mad Dog Kelly, just like it says down below. Instagram Matt Mad Dog as well. TikTok, I had Matt Mad Dog was taken, so it's now Matt Mad Dog. I think it's period 94. I think that's how how I got away with it there. So, but yeah, so I'm all over the place. So go follow me. The guys there.
We didn't even get into
Wrestling
AEW
news.
tonight.
We didn't even get a chance to. We were so wrapped up on Cody Rhodes.
Jeez.
Maybe we'll have another show later this week and talk about the rest of the show. Anyways, Niko Exxtra here. You guys all know where to find me because I am famous and take pictures with people. If you want a picture with me, please come and say hi to me. I love it and embrace it. Actually,
Charge us $5.
I do not charge. It's absolutely
Only
free.
5?
And if you
You gotta
see
up that
Julie
price.
Cutler, take a picture with her as well. Right now, that you're going to be running for Miss USA or
Oh,
Miss
thank
Miss
you.
America. Is it Miss USA or Miss America?
So Miss USA and Miss America are 2 separate.
Which
so
one
Miss,
are you going for?
Miss Massachusetts USA. If you
Nice.
pass that, then you go to Miss USA.
We're
So
looking
there's a lot of
past that.
different. There's a lot of different.
It's like
guess
we're in the
great.
presence of greatness. I love it.
Oh,
All right,
you
everyone.
guys.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Thank
We will be
you.
back next week. Let me play this fake Sexy Boy song because I can't play the real one, by the way. Fun fact. If I play the real one, they'll ban me on YouTube and Twitch, so I have to play this fake shit. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. We'll talk to you later.
Up and down your spot. I'm just a sexy boy.